before I get into the game here, the first thing I want to say is obviously disappointing way to finish senior night for this group of young men. But with that being said, I really want to go back to the beginning of the night. And, for a young man like Peyton Stonefield, a senior linebacker that doesn't get a lot of playing time, for him to lead our football team out onto the field with the American flag, couldn't happen to a better young man. He's a fully trained Marine Corps officer candidate, and you talk about a true class act. And, if you're talking about having a son and growing up and representing the values the way that this young man does, and obviously I had an opportunity to play with Peyton's father, Don Stonefield, here at Ball State. And what a proud moment for that young man, for that family, class act. So I wanted to recognize that because that was certainly special to have him lead us onto the field with the American flag and his patriotism and where he's headed after his careers over here at Ball State certainly is very special. Yes, we're disappointed that obviously we're done playing here at home. We didn't play the kind of football and have enough wins here at home. I am disappointed in that. I know our seniors are disappointed in that, but I want to say thanks really to the band, to the Ball State University band led by Carolyn Hand. What a great job they do every night. I love the fact that they're always rowdy right behind our bench. I appreciate them being into it all the time. Continue to do that. Thanks to all, the Ball State cheerleaders and the Code Red dance team for all their hard work. It's not easy. They're the ones that have to go through when things aren't going the way you want them to on the football field. They're still here for you through thick and thin. So I wanted to say thank you to them for their efforts. We're going to get there, but I appreciate always the fact that they're into it all the time. They do such a great job, and obviously we need them in this effort to get where we want to go. So in regards to the game, yes, a disappointing outcome. But it comes down to us having too many turnovers. You simply cannot do that. Doesn't matter what level of play it is. We have to eliminate the turnovers in order to give ourselves an opportunity to win a game. Eastern Michigan, is a team that's done a great job. Coach Creighton has got that team, turned around from where they were a year ago to now. And obviously, it's not fun. It puts a dagger in your gut to see a team become bowl eligible on your home field in your last home game of the season. But the credit goes to them. Obviously, they've done some good things. They've gained a lot of confidence. They're playing good football. But for us, we had an opportunity early in that football game to create a gap. And we didn't get that done. We started off great playing complementary football, converting turnovers into touchdowns, and then we had a stretch there about 4 or 5 drives where we were getting the ball back. Our defense was doing a great job. In offense, we did not capitalize on that. And then the second half, we got ourselves behind, with some turnovers. Obviously, Riley had we had a screen, he pump faked, and the ball slipped out of his hand. Corey Lockenary fumbled a punt. And then obviously the interception when we had a first down in scoring position, and he forced the ball into the end zone, and that just simply cannot happen. Got to get that corrected, got to get that fixed. That's my job to get that done. But we got a lot left to play for. I told our guys that we've entered that we're in a single elimination mindset right now. Apply it to the NCAA tournament in March when you have the field of 64. We're a single elimination. There's something for us to play for because obviously if we handle our business, there's a bowl game that sits out there. That's our tournament, but we're in a single elimination format right now, and that's our approach. We're going to be, we got some guys banged up, so we got to do a great job the next couple days, staying on top of treatment, getting players back. Everybody's got that same issue, but we'll get back out on the practice field on Saturday, have 3 great days of work. We'll have a walkthrough, and then we'll get on that bus to go to Toledo with the mindset that we're going there to win. So our guys know what's at stake. We're going to be positive around here. We're going to work our tail off until the final whistle blows. That's the only way I know how to operate, and that's the only way that we'll do things. So, we know where we're at. We're disappointed, but yet we're going to stay positive and keep grinding away.
Coach, when you talk about a guy like Stonefield in kind of the pregame stuff and bringing the flag out, how do you guys come to that decision or plan to do that?
He obviously last summer, this past summer, he missed. He wasn't. A lot of his teammates obviously were in summer school. He was off. He was gone for part of his commitment, part of his officer training school. So when you start to reflect and you think about wearing the helmets, the red, white, and blue decal that represents Ball State with the stripe down the middle with the stars, the stripes, and being recognizing the veterans here and the sacrifices they've made so that we can have such a great country to live in. And for Peyton Stonefield to know that's something he wants to do in his future. through. I don't know that it took anybody any time at all to think there's no better guy to lead our team out with the American flag than Peyton Stonefield. So, I don't think there was really anything to think about other than he's just a great young man that's done everything the right way. Comes from a great family, great background, and golly, I wouldn't want anybody else defending our country or, than Peyton Stonefield. So, really the credit goes to the young man for who he is, his makeup, where he's come from, and what a class act and a great teammate.
Coach, you obviously mentioned you guys got banged up in the game, and it seemed like defensively you got thinner and thinner as things wore on. But the defense kind of hung in there in the fourth quarter and got you some critical stops. But on that last drive, what did you see on film, and did you think guys kind of got worn down there on that last drive?
Well, there's a lot at stake, though. So even though there had been a lot of plays in the game, at that point, I still feel like our guys were into it. They were, fighting through that, stage where you're tired and the mental toughness tells you that, hey, when my body tells me I'm tired, my mind's going to convince me otherwise. So I feel great about where they're at. We had a couple opportunities. You have to give the quarterback credit for extending the play on the one there, on the the one that got him down there inside the 5, because we came off the edge. Aaron Taylor was free, and the quarterback obviously escaped the pocket. And made a play on the move like that, which was a big-time throw. When he threw it, it's not like the receiver was open. So they did a good job. The receiver adjusted and made a tough catch, and yet he delivered it and had enough confidence to say, I'm going to make this throw here. So you really have to give them credit for making a couple of plays there where he got outside of the pocket. So really, I know our guys they knew exactly what was at stake, and it's not a question of those guys being, tired from playing that many snaps. I mean, when you're in that moment and you have a chance to finish one off here at home, I know everybody sucked it up and was playing with their best effort, but the young man just made a couple of plays, and you have to give him credit for that.
Everybody's banged up at this time of year, but is it nice to get an extra day in the next
Yeah.
game?
Because we contemplated on Friday going on the practice field and trying to get some work with our young guys again, like we did a couple of weeks ago when we had an extra day. But unfortunately, with as many guys, we just can't go on the field on Friday. So yes, it is good treatment-wise to get guys in there and to get extra treatment. Our training room is going to be busy, like most are this time of year. But our guys got to do a good job of getting themselves as good a shape as they can get to get on the practice field and put a great game plan together for Toledo.
Coach, do you guys have any update yet on James Gilbert?
Yeah, he got banged up, was not able to return for the second half. Thankfully, it's not, any injury, obviously you're banged up, but we expect him, hopefully it's still early. We haven't been on the practice field yet on Saturday, but we expect him to be able to come back and hopefully play a role. If it's not, a ton of, obviously, depending on how many snaps, just kind of depends on where he's at. So, but we expect to get him back in there.
Sure. You talked to about kind of a single elimination mindset and having your back against the wall, and you're playing a team this week to take you to. So how does that kind of mentality, can almost help you when you're playing a team that's one of the better teams in the country?
Yeah, and my hat's off to Toledo. They've done a good job. They've been very consistent. We're trying to become a team that can be consistent year in, year out, and be a team that's competing for championships. So you give them credit. But yet for us, we know that, as long as the guys in this room believe that we can win, we know that outside of the room, there's many people, hopefully not in the Muncie community, but there's many people that would expect to say, okay, Toledo's favorite here. That's fine. But for us, it's all about that mindset of, hey, it's single elimination right now. There's still something sitting there for us that's at stake. So we just got to believe in each other, create that mindset so that we can get on that bus and travel to Toledo, that everybody on that bus is in that mindset. We're going to win. We expect to win. Yes, we have to play our best football.
Coach, you mentioned after the game the other night that you guys have to learn how to finish. How do you kind of balance that mindset that it's a process, but intentionally with
Yeah.
obviously the muscle and mindset
Yeah.
these last 2 weeks?
There's no question about that. There is a balance there because I'm not going to talk about the future, though, because I believe in this senior class, and they don't want to hear about the future. They want to hear about what's at stake right now and what kind of results can we achieve here in our final 2 games. So that's our only focus. That's our only mindset. And yes, we still have to, in my mind, it's all about a mindset and a belief that we have to create, and we have to really not just, it's something you can talk about, but you truly have to see it, and you have to believe it, and you have to get inside of each guy's mind and know that, man, he's where he needs to be. He really does believe that we can take that field and win that game. So that's what we have to get done. We have to have, everybody on the same page before we get on that bus to travel to Toledo.
After watching the film the other night, you mentioned you had a chance to pull away when we were at 21-2. Was there a point in the game, or was there something that you thought maybe if we would have kept doing this, or if we would have done that, besides the turnovers,
Yeah.
that we would have?
Well, I feel like there were some plays out there on the field to be made, maybe just a little bit high with the throw. There was a ball that was dropped, had a holding call that was critical, on one of those 4 drives that I talk about. But there's opportunities on the field, and we're just not consistently making the plays when they present themselves. We've got to eliminate the self-inflicted wounds. I know I've talked about that before, but it really is an emphasis when you have an opportunity like that to create a gap that puts stress on your opponent on the other sideline. You got to seize it while you have that, because we started off great, but we all know there's 4 quarters to every single game, and the game ebbs and flows. And when you're in that situation, though, you got to capitalize on it. You have to still have that killer instinct that, man, we're going to take advantage of it while we got it, jump on it, because we know at any moment the tide could shift, the momentum could shift. All those things are possible, but it's just us leaving some plays on the field. There were some obviously had some receivers open, a little bit high with the throw, had a couple drop balls, had a hold. So we got to eliminate that because our defense was doing a great job at that time getting the ball back for the offense.
I was talking about Riley and the turnovers, and he has to eliminate those, but he still threw for nearly 400 yards. What kind of positives specifically were you able to take from that film?
Well, he does a lot of things very well. He does a lot of things very well, and coming back from a game that he missed due to injury, I'm proud of the progress that he's made passing game-wise and making some of the throws down the field the other night and giving some guys an opportunity to make some plays. But yet, it's just got to be consistent, every single week. Yes, there's positives. And there's just a handful of plays. If you could just take them and go, whoo, if I could just eliminate those, man, the outcome would be different. And you talk about the fumble on the run. What a great run to escape the pocket, climb. That's a big gain right there. And all of a sudden, he's extending, and all of a sudden, you've seen it happen before. You'd like for it not to happen to your football team, but he extended. It's a ball security issue, and man, it just can't happen. And then, pump fake, and then he turns the other way to throw a screen. I think we got a big play right there to Kevon. Obviously, you can't fast forward and see Kevon catch it and see how it unfolds, but it certainly unfolded in the right way on tape. And there was a big play that we missed right there because obviously the ball security slipped out of his hand. Yes, it's happened to other quarterbacks, but man, if we could just take those 4 or 5 plays there and boom, eliminate those, feel strongly there'd be a different outcome.
Coach, you talk about the complementary football and having stretches where you're punting more than you want to. Defensively, you're forcing, stopping drives, but then sometimes, like you see the go-ahead drive at the end there. So I'm just wondering, does it feel like you're close to being consistent enough to having
It's close, but man, if there's one thing you could fix, if there's one thing that I could sit here right now and say, man, fix it right now. If you could just fix the turnover margin, man, we'd be different. We'd be different. And yes, we'd been there in games, and that's why I always come back to we got to learn to finish. We have to learn what winners do, what a winning attitude and a winning mindset in those situations. Man, boom, you find a way because you're so mentally strong and mentally tough and so confident that confidence breeds success. And when you're in those moments, man, you figure out a way when your mindset's right to finalize the deal and to finish the deal. And for us, we got to get that fixed. And it's staying the course. We emphasize it all the time, but it's staying the course, making sure that the quarterback truly understands the read, sees the field, and not every time is every play. When you're throwing the balls, or a guy going to be open? Dang it, they win too sometimes. So being willing to throw it away. Let's come back to another down. He forced the ball on a double move the other night. We're in first down. We're in scoring position. Kevon runs a double move. Their corner bailed right away. He put it up thinking, I'm going to give my guy an opportunity to go up and make a play. Kevon has a size advantage. But, man, let's throw it away because there's not enough of that where we threw one up and came down with it that would give you that mindset. I'm confident knowing I'm going to throw it up and he's going to come down with it. So let's throw it away. Let's come back and fight another down. So we got to get there. We're not there. We got to get there. But yet there's still hope. There's still time. I'm a one day, one game at a time guy. And listen, I'm fighting my tail off. I know our senior class is fighting their tail off. I'm fighting until the final whistle sounds for us here. And it's single elimination mindset. We're going to create enough positive things, create enough stories, moments that we can share on video over the next few days to get us in that mindset. In addition to doing it on the field, let's get that way in the meeting room too. Let's show some examples of teams that have had some positive things happen being in a similar situation that we are.
Did you have a chance to watch Toledo's game last night?
I watched just the end of it, just the very end of it, the last drive. I give them credit. Obviously that's, again, a story of a team that they got behind, but yet they came back at the end and they went down the field and made the plays that were necessary to win the game. So because we know Northern Illinois, they've had an up and down season, and they're still a good football team. They've got good players, and so I was not surprised by the competitive way the game shook out there. But obviously, give Toledo credit for winning at the end.
And the little bit of film that you've watched on them, what has stuck out to you as far as their personnel goes?
Well, I think they're very balanced. Obviously, they're playing good complementary football. They're really defensively, offensively, they're playing a good complementary game. They have good personnel. They've done a good job recruiting wise of bringing guys into the program. Made big time contributions. The quarterback's playing at a high level. He's on the verge of the touchdown record in our conference right now. So he's playing at a very high level. Again, a team that doesn't make a ton of mistakes. They do a good job of playing consistent week in, week out, and making the plays when they come their way. So I'm not surprised by the success of where Toledo's at. I know Coach Kendall's in his first year. He was on staff a year ago, so he was elevated, and rightfully so. I had a chance to be around him in the preseason. Very sharp guy, very talented. Done a great job with his football team, taking over in his first year.
Coach, with Riley, you talked a lot about the shot to the end zone where he was looking at Kevon, got picked off. Should he have simply seen the corner is there?
Yeah.
You don't even look at that.
Yeah, in his mindset, his answer when he came off to the sideline, because I just thought I could I was throwing it up to Kevon, trusting that my guy would come down and go make a play, and we had a size advantage. So that was his reasoning. Listen, I understand that, but the one thing that you'd say is, hey, we haven't been in that situation where we've come down with it enough where we've thrown a jump ball. So, it's twofold a little bit here. I like the fact that he's thought that through and said, hey, I'm giving Kevon a chance. I trust that he's going to come down with the ball. But at the same time, hey, if we haven't done it enough on the year, let's be willing to throw it away. It's first down, and then we'll live to fight another down. We still got plenty of time left, and obviously we would have been at second down after that play was over. So, listen, he had a good reason. I'm not disappointed in that, but yet we got to make sure from an outcome standpoint we feel very confident when you make a decision like that.
I don't know if you can read too much into just a few plays like that, but like in the Akron game, you said you had the shot calls dialed up,
Mm-hmm.
and a few times Riley would have to pull it down his monitor. You saw that was there, so I was just wondering, does it seem is he seeing those and feeling better?
Yeah, now listen,
Chances at all?
that's a fair question. Obviously it's a great question. It's easy. The number one thing you always want to look at is you start with a quarterback on offense. When you talk about the passing game and, where is he at in terms of mentally? Does he have a great understanding of the offense? Does he have a great understanding passing games concepts? He does. He's very sharp. Yes, he's still young. He's played a lot of football now, though, in 2 years, and starting a lot of games. So those decisions, obviously I can't enter his mind. I'd like to think I know where he's at and where his confidence level's at. But obviously the turnovers and something that's shown up a lot throughout the season. Obviously that's taken its toll on him mentally too. And so yet we got to make sure that he's able to move past those. And yes, when we have shots called down the field, they're not all going to be great looks. They're not all going to win, or they're not all going to work every time. So that's part of it too, being a great decision maker, knowing when to throw it away, knowing when to get to the check down, and then let's move on to the next play.
You talked to about just in the locker room, showing guys certain moments in games or certain teams that have had success in tough situations, I guess. So I was just wondering, is there any kind of, maybe not fear, but just like you don't want them to get stuck in this rut where you lose several close games?
Yeah.
And you feel like
Yeah.
you have to avoid that.
Obviously, winning teams that have a winning mindset find ways to win close games. That's the difference. when you find ways to win close games. You got to fix the turnover margin, and then you find ways to win close games. That's what winning teams do. That's what confident teams do. You don't panic at all when pressure situations happen like that at the end of football games. You simply have the mindset, we're going to go down the field here, we're going to execute, we're going to score a touchdown to win the game, we're going to kick a field goal to win the game. That's what winning teams do. That's what a winning mindset does. So that's part of just continuing to emphasize that in all phases of our program, working out, classroom, developing a winning mindset, because that can carry a long way in life.
But you're obviously a quarterback's guy, and what you have seen from Toledo Woodside, and you mentioned he's got a record that he's getting close to breaking. What sticks out about him? What has made him effective this year?
He's a good decision maker, and he's been very consistent every week. You see him locating the ball very well. When I say locating, he's very accurate, because not every time does a receiver or tight end have 2 or 3 steps on a guy. A lot of times it's a contested throw, and he puts it in the right spot where his guy has a chance to make the play. He's done a good job of spreading the ball around to all their guys, receivers, tight ends, backs. They got a good complementary game, and he does a good job in the pocket. If things break down, he's got enough mobility to get out of it, to throw the ball away, and to line up for the next down. So he's been very consistent that way, played very mature football for a quarterback that's obviously had a great year week in, week out. So, those are things that when you watch the tape on him that impress you very quickly.
Coach, a couple times this year, you mentioned going down and scoring a touchdown or kicking a field goal to win the game. A couple times this year, you scored late for Atlantic.
Mhm.
I know when that would have been this week, obviously. How does that mindset kind of shift to the defensive side when you do score a late touchdown if it would take the lead?
Right, so yeah, and the outcome that you hope for the other night against Eastern Michigan is the same as the outcome at Florida Atlantic. We went down and scored like we did against Eastern Michigan, and defense came back out, and man, we got after the QB, threw an interception to Zach Ryan. So that's the kind of outcome that you expect when you take the field defensively the other night. Man, same situation, let's seize the moment. Let's get after this guy. Let's force him into a decision where we have a chance to intercept the ball, finish the game, or hold him on 4th down. So that's what you have to carry over. When you're in close games like that, you got to finish it off like you do at Florida Atlantic, and not have a situation like happened against Eastern Michigan. So that's just one of those things. It's a belief. It's a mindset. You could tell when we took that field at Florida Atlantic, I could see where our mind was. I could see the look in the players' eyes, and yet we got to get that same thing from our guys, mindset-wise, look in eye when we get close in games like that, to go finish the deal off and know that we're going to finish the deal off.
You've had some opposing quarterbacks have big days here recently, and I know sometimes it's easy to look at those numbers and say the secondary had a bad day. But the pass rush has been less than it was early in the year. That's causing those
Yeah,
problems.
unfortunately, we haven't been able to get home. Obviously, we've tried some different things from a scheme standpoint where we twisted the front some, we brought pressure, but we just haven't been able to get home like we were early in the season. You got to credit the teams that we played against in our conference. They've had a chance to study a lot of tape. They've had a chance to study what our strengths, what our weaknesses are, what our pressure package is. So you have to give our opponents credit. But yes, we just haven't been able to get home like we were early in the season. And, there's a number of different things you could look at potentially, but yet, obviously, the credit goes to our opponents. But yes, we got to find a way to make the quarterback uncomfortable in the pocket, because there's a lot of good ones that we play in this conference, and another good one this week. Obviously, the Roback gentleman from Eastern Michigan was playing at a high level. He'd done a good job for when he got an opportunity to start. He kind of took the job and ran with it at Eastern Michigan. He's put up some big numbers. Their passing game steadily increased and climbed every single week statistically, so you give him credit. And again, we're facing another good one in Woodside this week at Toledo. Obviously, we got the Akron quarterback. When he came back from injury and was playing at a high level, now he's banged up again. But yay, that's just is what it is, and our guys have got to figure out a way to get home. We're just not winning our one-on-one matchups like we have been.
Any other questions?
Thanks for
All
your
right,
time.
thank you guys.
Thanks, Coach.